Hey, what's up guys? My name is Mel from Fortin, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Hydra with some help from my friend Steven from Neural DSP. So the Hydra is a MIDI foot controller. It features 8 buttons for easy use, and it is the new standard for MIDI foot controllers. The Hydra was designed with the smallest footprint possible for flying, touring, and tight pedalboard applications. With a multiple power supply mating, the AC-DC inlet or outside 7 pins on the 7-pin MIDI out connector power the footboard. The pedal outputs program change 0 through 7, and the MIDI channel select on top cycles from 1 through 16. Which each incremental selection on the top switches from 1 through 16. The pedal also features a bright blue LED indicating the most recent program change you've selected. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the Hydra with a real amp like the Egnator Armageddon. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to use it with amp modelers like the Helix and Axe-Fx, and also I'll be showing you guys how to use it with plugins like the Fortin Kali with some help from Steven with Neural DSP. To use the Hydra with the real amp, you first must have a MIDI input on your amp, and it must respond to program changes. For instance, my Egnator can save programmed presets, which can be addressed by MIDI program change signals. Alright, so firstly, you're going to need a MIDI cable and a power supply for your Hydra. Then plug the MIDI cable into the back of your amp, and then plug the MIDI cable into your Hydra like so. After you've saved your addressable presets, your Hydra should be able to recall scenes 0 through 7 labeled 1 through 8 on your Hydra easily. Using the Hydra with an amp modeler is fairly similar to using it with the real amp. Most modelers will respond to program changes 0 through 7 on default. So for instance, plugging the Hydra directly into the line 6 Helix will address 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So button 1 will access patch 0 and button 2 will access patch 1. So the easiest way to set up your Hydra to sync with your modeler is to set patches 0 through 7 on the modeler to be the patches you want addressed on buttons 1 through 8 on the Hydra. This goes for the line 6 Helix, the Axe-Fx, or the Kemper. So to plug your Hydra into your computer, you need a MIDI interface, or to use an audio interface that has a MIDI in or out. Then you can access any plugin or standalone amp software that accepts MIDI control changes. In this case, we'll be using the Fortin Kali. So the most simple way to use a MIDI controller is to bind complete presets to MIDI program changes. This is done easily by right-clicking on the preset and then clicking on the MIDI controller twice to pair the MIDI program change to the preset. In the Fortin Kali suite and other Neural DSP plugins, you can also bind amp channel switching and pedals to be toggled by MIDI. To do this, it is quite simple. You can right-click on any parameter in the plugin you would like to use, i.e. a pedal or even a switch, or the amp itself can be toggled on and off. You can even go as far as linking the grind or hex drive on an amp channel switch just like you would to simulate exactly what it would be like to use the grind or hex drive in real life. Honestly, you can bind almost every parameter to be toggled on the Hydra. This can be very close to what it would be like using a real pedal board in a live situation, but this can get really complicated really fast. Try to be very simple with this, or else you'll be tap dancing on the floor to achieve a simple effect. Alright, so enough of me talking, let's see this thing in action.
What's up everybody, Steven here, and I wanted to share with you a couple of tips on how you could control your neural DSP plugins while using the Fortin Hydra pedal. Tip number 1, keep things simple. You don't want to be tap dancing on stage or overthinking the buttons that you have to press to make your patch changes, so keep things as simple as you can. Tip number 2, keep a journal. Once you've figured out exactly how you want your set to play out, be sure to write down the exact commands and the exact patch changes that are going to occur with each and every button change. You don't know if at some point you're going to have to switch machines and you're going to have to totally reprogram an entirely new computer and the Midi controls that follow. So having that reference on hand will always come in handy. Tip number 3, experiment. I know tip number 1 was keep things simple, but in your free time while you have the chance, just play around with what you can make with Midi commands going to maybe several different components in your chain. If you want some additional things on how you can be creative with your Midi workflow, I actually did make a fully extensive video on how you could do so on the Neural DSP channel.
Alright, so I hope this video gave you guys a better idea of how to use the Hydra in many situations. And as always guys, if you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up, sub to the channel if you haven't already, ring that bell for notifications, and leave a comment below on what plugin you're going to be using the Hydra with. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video.